LV back with a quick 15 card SGC basketball, $12 per card order reveal. This order was thrown together quickly, mainly because I just wanted to test one card out. It was a card that PSA destroyed me on in one of those brutal big submissions I recently revealed. They gave it a 6. It was this 89 Hoops Jordan All-Star. I thought it was a Gem 10, and that's a wild opinion difference. So I wanted to see what SGC thought. This order took 5 to 7 days, fast as usual. I do want to quickly say that a recent PSA order popped. The grades popped yesterday, and I'm very pleased to say, happy to say, that I bounced back in a big way. Awesome grades on in that one. And can you guess what my order size was on that order? It was 28 cards. So smaller order, perfect sub size. I can't stress this enough. Do not send in huge, big orders. You know, orders over, say, 80 to 100 cards to PSA. The graders either rush through them, not caring as much, or they put the new inexperienced graders on them, or graders get bored or angry having to grade a larger order. Whatever the case, either way, you've heard me say it before. I think the sweet spot for sub size is about 30 to 50 card orders. So my advice, go ahead and take the hit and pay the extra return shipping and split up those big orders. Okay, let's get started on this reveal and see what this card got. Here we go. Okay, first card up is a really nice looking black and gold. These are numbered out of 5. That's why I went ahead and graded an Ish Smith. Not a big name, but it looked great. And I figured at 12 bucks it was worth it. It had a touch of white on these back corners. That's why I didn't even think about sending it to PSA. I think it would have given 9, but happy with the 10 here. Next up, we have a Dennis Rodman. I like the look of these blue, yellow, and green. The choice, I like those little spiral circles and stuff, but it got a 9.5. Looked pretty good. The centering was there. I thought I had one little nick on the back somewhere. Maybe that's why I chose not to do it with PSA. I think SGC saw it too and gave it a 9.5. 9. It's a mint plus. Next up, we have a Kevin Durant. Man, I have really enjoyed watching USA basketball in the Olympics this summer. And Durant, man, he's a beast in the Olympics. So what a game against Serbia. Loved watching LeBron and Curry. Durant hit a big shot. Anyway, this is numbered out of 65. Nice looking die cut. PSA always hammers me on die cut, so I figured to give it a shot with SGC. Plus the centering was off a little bit, top to bottom, thicker on the top than the bottom. They went in and gave it a 10. Happy with that. Looks good all framed up. Next up, we got the Jimmy Butler. This is a pink fast break out of 50. This one actually looked like a PSA Gem 10. It was a perfect card. At $12, it just made sense for SGC. Gem Mint 10. Talk about that Serbia game. Man, if everyone forgot just how good he was incredible. Jokic, one of his first cards. The cardstock is just paper thin. It's almost like those Panini sticker thin, you know. Cool early card for Jokic. The Joker, they're also very condition sensitive. You get a lot of bends because the cardstock's so thin and the centering's always off. So I'm happy with the 7 here. I'm okay with that. You can see the centering. Other than that, it was pretty clean. So 7, that's actually a fairly normal grade for that card. Except we got a big Z, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, numbered out of 25. These blue X-Fractors really pop. They look cool. I like them a lot. Yeah, I can see that. It had a few roller lines on it, kind of a little bit of refractor lines, not much. It was in between 9 and 10 for PSA, so that's kind of where SGC put it. 9.5. Okay with that. All right, here we go. Here is the pop it over here, and here is that 89 All-Star. That was a PSA 6. 10. SGC 10. This was a 6. It just got a 10. A 6 to a 10 is just insanity to me. I literally just cracked it out of the slab, put it in a penny sleeve, and sent it to Boca. I did nothing to doctor the card or anything. And it just shows the discrepancy between graders, between companies, just everything. You can see it's a nice looking card. A little off center on the back, but you know, it's the back. You can get away with that for Gem 10s. Really beautiful card. I think I will go ahead and talk about this card more and my thoughts about all of this after this reveal. So if you want to stick around and listen to me talk, feel free. If not, no big deal. All right, let's just keep moving on. Nice looking card. Next up is a bigger card. So LeBron James, second year card, Bowman Chrome. These are only 300 made of these refractors. I love it. I got a steal on it. DC Sports, I believe, for, I don't know, around 200, 210 or something. Anyway, it came and it was okay. It was somewhere between an 8 and a 9. I was hoping SGC would push it to a 9. I really wanted this in a 9, but it's a PC card, so I'm not too worried about it. I like that it's slabbed up now, and it can just go straight to my PC, so I'm not too worried. I think 8.5 is an accurate grade. You can see a little off-center left or right, thicker on the right. And the back just had, fogging up from my hands, a touch on that corner, a touch on this corner, and a little bit of edge wear right here. So I completely understand the grade. I think SGC got it right. The next card I bought raw too, and it was a mistake. I'm going to lose money on this card. So my advice, if you see raw copies of this card or really popular LeBron James cards, you know, it's such a big name card. Most of the time, the nice copies are already going to be graded. They're already going to be slabbed up. So if you see a raw copy out in the wild, expect that there's something wrong with it. There's a little flaw to it or whatever, and definitely be aware of the risk if you're buying online. You know, card show or in a card shop, you can actually physically see it before you buy is much better. Less risk. But anyway, it came to me and it had this indent. Kind of see it right there, right? And centering's a little off. And the back corners just had a little bit of wear to them. So, I don't know. I honestly thought SGC would give an 8. I might crack it out and try with PSA, but I think they would give it a 7 too based on that. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Took an L on that one. That's okay. Next up, these ones are just tough altogether. 8's probably a decent grade, to be honest. Jambal Mashburn, Essential Credentials. This is out of 201. That's just Newton rings. I believe that wasn't there before. Yeah, it's just Newton rings. It's pressing up against the glass. Anyway, the grader is just completely up to the eye of the grader. This card could be an 8 or 9 on any given day. I don't like how it's just smushed up against that glass. I might crack this out and send to PSA because I thought it was at least an 8 PSA. So, yeah, I just don't like the way it looks pressed up against that. They need to use a thicker case here, slab. Anyway, got an 8. Move it over there. Next up, this was a min size. I just like the look of this year of Skybox EX. And it is a second year dirt card. I thought it could be a 10. I thought PSA would give it a 10. But they give it min size. They just didn't grade it. SGC at least graded it, but they give it a 9. I thought it's nicer than that. So they are a little bit tighter on older cards. And by older, I would say 2010 and older. SGC is, this is my opinion, SGC is more in line with PSA in their grades. They're a little tougher, tighter on the 80s and 90s and 2000s cards. Anything after that, I'd say they're more lenient on ultra modern cards than PSA. So don't be scared to send in those newer modern and ultra modern cards to SGC. Sam Perkins Rave. This is at a $3.99. Another clean card that I thought could have been a 9 easily. So they're just a little tighter. Very condition sensitive card. I like the Raves a lot. They are numbered out of $3.99. Touch of white there, but honestly, that's just about it. So I'm kind of shocked they gave that one an 8. think it's more, at least an 8.5 or 9. Next one I can see, a little off center, left, right. Thicker on the left than the right. It's the Dennis Rodman blue. I like this image on all the colors, his hair, everything. It's just a nice looking card, framed and in a frame. Got a mint 9. And we got a Shaq. I struggle with flare cards in every company. 8.5. I thought it was at least a 9 for the center spotlight. I like this card growing up. So kind of a little bit undergrade in my opinion on this one. Maybe it's tougher for the grader to distinguish the centering, but I always look at the flare logo. 8.5, and we're going to end on a Michael Jordan Pro Vision. This one was min size. PSA didn't grade it. SGC went ahead and did it. I'm okay with that. My pre-grade was at least a 9 or better for the PSA, so SGC give it a 9, and I love the contrast of the white and the black tux. So nice looking card in the SGC mint 9. Okay, that was it. That was the quick order right there. I think my favorite card was not that big of cards. Probably still the LeBron. I'm excited to add that to my PC. It's a beautiful card, and there wasn't any surface scratches, so I was very happy with that. Okay, now I will talk about this, the infamous 6-10. Like I said, stick around if you want to hear me talk. If not, no big deal. All right, let's just get into this. So, wouldn't you have loved to know what the PSA grader's notes would have been? What he saw to give it a 6? I'm sure in the grader's mind, he saw something, right? Because I highly doubt he would just say, F you, I'm going to give this dude a 6 on a gem mint card, because I can. I don't see him doing that. But that something he saw, it was wrong. And it boils down to inexperience of these new graders, in my opinion. They don't know these 80s and 90s cards. They probably weren't even born yet, to be honest. You know, we grew up collecting, knowing the ins and outs of these sets, these cards. And I don't expect these new graders to know everything. It's impossible. There's so many sets and everything. But they have to take the time to at least reference and research the cards they don't know before assigning the grade. You know, this card, like I mentioned earlier, is just one of the many cards that got hammered by PSA in my recent orders, large orders. And it's funny, because after all these years of submitting, like 20 years, I still get just as upset and find myself kind of second-guessing my abilities and my eyes submitting cards. And that's why I sent in this Jordan. I know low-end cards, not financially responsible to crack out and pay another grading fee, but it's not all about money. It was about self-preservation. I needed to know that I'm not crazy, and I want to keep kind of exposing PSA so they will hopefully get better. You know, witnessing this grade bump, a 6 to a 10, it just kind of shows PSA's negligence in certain areas. And because of this, I think I plan to crack out 15 to 20 more basketball cards that were kind of recently grossly undergraded as 8s or lower, and go ahead and submit them to SGC for grading. Let me know if you guys think that's a good idea, if you want to see that video in the future. I would love to see what SGC gives them. I know it won't make financial sense, but, you know, like I said, I'm not doing it for the money. In this case, I'm doing it to kind of prove a point for all of us to see. I still love PSA, you guys know that, but I do want them to keep their foot on the throttle, keep going forward, and keep getting better, you know? I want them to test their graders a little better, you know, review the graders, do a little more compatibility, consistency training. And I want them to offer, this is important, I want them to offer grader notes on all service levels one day. I think we deserve that. We are still paying, you know, $16 to $20 per card at the lowest levels. That's still a lot. That's not cheap. And especially since it's not COVID boom anymore, values are back down to pre-pandemic levels, which is totally fine. And I think that's where it should be. And I'm actually happy where the hobby and market is right now, because I still see a ton of interest. Yeah, the boom is gone, but it left us with so many new collectors that are still active. way more collectors than pre-boom. So I think that's encouraging and something to stay positive about. Okay, I got a little off track. Sorry about that. Anyway, SGC grades fast. So look for that crack out video in a couple weeks. I think it's going to be fun to see what kind of grade bumps I'm going to get. And let me tell you, there will be grade bumps, I'm sure. All right, I really appreciate all you watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble at the end. And expect a fun PSA reveal, the really good one that I mentioned at the start of the video. That'll be Tuesday. All right, everyone have a good weekend.